Okay, I don't even remember what I videoed last time. It's the next day, and I worked on it the other day. It was hot in the shop. We did a lot of sweating, and I forgot to do some recording. I don't think I showed this part here we needed to do. This is my cutout, and what this is going to do is be able to accept the refrigerator. And if you look at the original one, you can see here that it had a cutout piece of metal, and I wasn't too fond of that idea. And it sits up on a couple of blocks, so we'll get those done today. We'll work that in. That'll be these blocks, so we'll get on that. We've got everything screwed together on this. The faceplate is all screwed on. This one is not yet. We'll get to that. I still have to build another shelf in here yet, a small shelf, and we'll have to drill some holes here for the plumbing, which would be these holes. Get those lined up so the sink will fit down into there. I think that's about it. We've got this board that's going to be on this end, and because it is just a single board such as that one, we don't like that end grain showing, so I had to glue on a piece of wood to this. We'll make that fit so it shines up, and from the front side I think it'll look fine. I don't know, it's going to have this type of look anyways, and we still have to make the cooler fit in here. So that would be that little guy there. Of course, we've got it moved back over here, and the locking mechanism and everything is going to line up with the hole here. So we'll go ahead and attach this, sand it down, get it finished up, attach all those parts, and then we'll start working on the shelves over here and see how my bend and fold of those other end pieces worked out. So that's be the project for today, and we'll hopefully be able to recap what we get done this afternoon if I can remember to bring the old camera back out. So thanks again. We'll check with you when we get the update. Okay, I've got the end wall here stood up as we were going on. We got the base put back in here, ready for that. We're going to test fit the little cooler here in a minute. And what I've been working on next is, of course, the little shelves on the end over there, which are the curve. And instead of having them setting up on top, let me see here what we did have before. All of these just sat on the top, and of course this leaves the plywood edge and all there. So what I decided to do instead is I set it down on top of this, the ones I made, and simply drew them out, put them on the bandsaw, cut them out to size, and then I'm going to go ahead and use that as a front lip on it and just glue it inside of that. So we've got these glued up, ready to go. Got that one and this one. The bottom shelf is going to be a little bit different. So I'm probably not going to be able to do anything with that except for set it on the bottom, just because this bottom piece comes all the way out square. So we're going to probably leave that square, at least for this point in time. We'll see how it looks. I might have to cover it up a little bit. I don't like the way that end grain is, so we might have to take that off, clean that up a bit. So anyways, that's the scoop. We'll go ahead and set this cooler in here, and let's see if that thing's going to actually slide in and fit the way it's supposed to. Maybe I'll even set you up and we'll all work on it at the same time here, trying to see what it does do. That's where she's going to set. You can get to the latch just like it was. It opens up, and we'll go ahead. I think the other one did have some little spacers to keep this a little bit tighter in here, so we'll figure that out when this gets put back up, squared up. But I think that's going to give her back the look that it was having. So we'll go ahead and let all this stuff dry and come back with the updates. Okay, we've been out here working all day. Just got a couple of these pieces just laying in place. The countertop, kind of give you an idea what that looks like. This is just setting here in place. We'll have to do something with that. I think that actually goes in here like that. Anyways, for right now it's sitting there. I don't like that end grain, so I'm sure I didn't have that sticking out there. We've got the drawer basically set in place. I'm working on the divider here. Still need to do the bottom shelf on here. The refrigerator setting in place. This will get plumbed up. We got all these shelves are in place. The bottom one is still sitting loose. I've got to determine if I can go ahead and cut this to match, or if I need to leave that out there. I know the floor sits in here someplace, and I don't remember if it came all the way to there or not. So that's going to be the kind of the determining factor. I kind of hope I can take that away, because it does have that little bit of splinter off the end of it. But anyways, it's hot out here again today, so I'm going to say I'm out of here, and we'll get back with you on the next part of it. I don't know if this will be the end of a video or not, but if you are liking this build, please do hit that little subscribe button. The thumbs up helps me out, and any comments are always welcome. Your thoughts and ideas on it. So hit me up on it. Appreciate it. We'll be back with the next checkup. Okay, we didn't get a whole lot of filming actually done here today. Catching it on there. I've been busy just working through project. We've got the countertop all cut in. We've got the sink cut in. We have the hole for the water coming in. We've got the shelves mounted. We've got the drawer all set and ready to go. We've added our next shelf underneath. I think that'll look good. Our refrigerator cooler is sitting in place. All our shelves are lined up, and the backsplash is on, and the back of the panel is in place. So we're definitely wrapping this one up. We got some sanding, of course, to do, and when we figure out what kind of finish we're going to put on it, we'll do that. But for today, that's going to be pretty much it, and looks like I need to do some shop cleanup, because it's a mess in here. So I can't stand working in a messy shop. So we got that over on the roll around buggy so I can get it the heck out the way, and we'll clean this mess up. I think that one is ready to be put back into the back shop and get it out from under my feet, and we'll move the final cabinet up here and get ready to start building that. Be back with you just like that. Okay, it's another day in the shop, and we are going to work on this last cabinet that we have to build. And so I've gotten started a little bit, been looking at the plans. I think I've got a dimension of how big it actually can fit with all the new furniture in there already. I've located a couple pieces of scrap wood that are left over from whatever cutouts I've been using. Seems like this is the smallest cabinet. This thing does have a slight curve to it, so I am going to pretty much just lay plywood up against it and draw a pattern from that, and we'll work off of it. And that's what I've done here. We've got that pattern kind of laid out. We'll cut that out and then duplicate it for this piece and this piece, which I think it's square up to this point. So we'll go ahead and make that one out of 3/4. And then what I'm going to try to do, this will be the shelves that'll go in the inside of it, and I'll put those on there. And then I think what I'm going to try to do, I've had a little bit of this dark wood left that I made the top out of for the kitchen, and I've ripped those down. I've got them glued up, and we're going to go ahead and put that, I think, as the top when we get all done. We'll see if we can make that work for the top of this. Instead of having the carpet, we'll put a little butcher block top, and I might have to, I don't know, we'll either do trim around it or carve it out on the CNC, something along that line, to give it a little bit of a lip here. I'll play with that. That's a work in progress. We'll see what it ends up looking like. Anyways, that's kind of the plan. We'll go ahead and scribe all these parts out and get them ready to go together. Okay, well, I've got, I think, pretty well mocked up what I want for size and everything on this one. Kind of had it laid out. We'll go ahead and do a quick glue up job on it, nail it up, and then I'm going to set this much in place before I put the front face on it, just to make sure it fits in its spot. And then we'll go ahead and see if we can lay this on top of the face on the other one and match it up, get the holes right, and put that on. But first we'll glue it, mock it. Let's see how she fits in the van. Okay, I've got that all glued up and all, and I think it's going to fit in there quite nicely. It looks like a nice tight fit. So I'll go ahead and cut the front panel off of it, see if we can make that look good, and then we'll start building the top to see what we can do with that. So we'll play around with that a little bit. We'll see how that works out. But for that, looks good. We'll go trace it, cut it, put it together. Okay, it is another day in the shop. We're back out here again this morning, and I've got the front panel all cut out and glued to the actual cabinet itself. I think we're looking pretty good. Looks about the same as that. Now for the tops, because I didn't let these run up above, because I didn't, like I say, I don't like that end grain. We did start building this. I don't remember. I think I showed you where that was all glued up. I don't know. It's been a day or two since I've been out here. And all we're going to do is just glue on a little border on the top of it. And I think that'll work fine. We'll mount those two to the top of that. And that'll look pretty good. I think that'll also match up with the countertops and stuff. So we'll go ahead and glue these together. And when we get the clamps off of that, we'll be able to slide these right in place about the same time, I think. So see how it looks then. Okay, we're back out here. We're finishing off a lot of loose ends on this thing, I think, today. So I think what we got done today, let's see, I don't know if I had those in there earlier, but we've got the trim around the windows has been installed. We've made the tops for the little cabinet here in the center and got it set in place. So it's ready to go pretty much. Now we're going to go ahead, I've got these that are set in place right now. We're going to just take those and set them down in there and get them fastened. But I think what we're going to do is probably do a little pour on top of these to give them a little bit more like an epoxy pour resin. And so I've not done any of that. So we're going to have to try to play with that a little bit, see how that works. But I think it won't be too bad, just a thin layer. I don't need big thick cabinet or countertop of it. So we got those done. We modified a few more things on the base here in the front. I've got I don't know exactly why the grill was in the front of that, but we went ahead and put one in there, a new one, so it looks a little bit better. We had a little crack here along this edge, so I went ahead and filled that in on both sides. And I think probably about the next thing I'm going to have to start concentrating on is getting some doors and building those on here. So I think that's where we'll start with. And yes, I still have this to do, so I might look that up real quick, see if I can find some wood to make that out of too. Get it at least glued up this afternoon. But the old shop is definitely getting warm in here again. It's I don't know, probably 2 o'clock or so, and it's probably 96, 98 degrees. So we'll see. We just had a big old downpour and flooded my yard once again. About 2 inches of rain came down here just a little bit ago, and it took it about I don't know, I don't think it rained 45 minutes, but I got a good 2 inches out of it, so it washes everything out. But didn't stop us. We kept on working, but the humidity now is way up there, so we'll go ahead and maybe find some wood, see if I've got enough to glue up for that, and we'll glue that and probably take a little easy for a little while. And we'll be back with you with the next update. Probably seem like almost immediately. Okay, and just like that, we are back. Another day in the shop. We got about half a day's worth of work to do today that before I have to go do something else. But we're going to go ahead and start on the doors. These are all the doors that we need. The only thing missing is the drawer front. We will need to do that above this door. These two doors were the one's on the kitchen or the countertop with a sink and all in it. And we have these two which were on the passenger side. All three of these were on the passenger side. And then these three were on the driver's side. And this is for the little cabinet down on in the center between the bed and the cabinet. So we need to do that. The only thing we are a little bit struggled with, originally these, of course, were the afterthought and they don't match anything else, but these were made out of 3/4 plywood. This one, and this one. No, this one were this one was out of 3/4 plywood. This one over here are all made out of something thinner than 3/4 but bigger than 3/8. I don't know exactly what dimension they actually had that as. And then this is not 1/2-inch plywood. It's a little bit thinner, I believe, than what my 1/2 inch was. So, but it's thicker than a 1/4 inch. So we're gonna have to make that work for that though, because I don't know what dimension that is and I don't have access to it. So we'll have to figure with that. But I think we're gonna go ahead and just make all the doors out of 3/4. We'll match them up. This one here was 3/8, I think they're 1/2 inch, and that does pretty much match here. So this one should be no problem. The other ones we'll just make out of 3/4, and this one here we'll do out of 3/8, and we'll have to carve those out to fit into the metal track that they ride in. So I would like to also see if it's possible to make those the size that where you could actually take those doors out if you wanted to. The way they were in there originally, looks like they were put in place, nailed in place, and there was no way to remove the doors at all. So I don't know if we can make it work like that or not, but we may give that a shot just to see if we can make it happen. So that's what we're starting on, and we'll go ahead. We've got the 3/4 plywood over here loaded up on the panel saw, and we'll go ahead and cut this into two things. The first piece I'm going to cut off is going to be for the longest door that I have, and then we'll cut that down from there. I believe that started out at 22 3/4, so we'll go ahead and cut that one, and then we'll see how many pieces we can make out of that, and then go to the next one and cut it no longer than we have to. So we'll do that, get it started. Let's see how we look when we get that far, and we'll be back in a jiffy. Okay, and just like that, we've got all the pieces cut to the size of the doors that we need. We'll just need to make them all, trim in the back sides, round them over. One thing I'm not real happy with is birch. It's all birch, but it's the 3/8 definitely a lot lighter color shade than the other. I don't know if that's going to be a big change. That's going to be kind of on its own with the slide doors, and this one here is going to be on its own on that little side panel. Everything else I'm going to try to make match up. I only need 1/2 inch plywood for the drawer face, and I've got 3/4, and I did match everything up. So I think I'm going to just take that and sand it down and get it to whatever thickness I need it. Off the back side, attach it to the drawer. Nobody's going to see that anyway, so I think it'll work just fine. That's kind of the approach we're going to go. So we'll go ahead and start taking and cutting these all out, getting the inlay in there the way it's supposed to be. Give it the right thicknesses and go from there. Okay, and I'm back with just a quick update. We've got all the doors cut out now. They've got routed off the edges. Got all the holes drilled for the handles. They're ready to go. Holes for the plugs there. Everything's carved out to fit where it's supposed to be. So I think the next step is we'll go ahead and just sand these down and get them ready to put a finish coat on them. And they'll be ready to go. So a little bit of work on them, but sanding, and we sure don't need to sit and watch me do that. So we'll call this a day on this video recording. We'll talk at you on the next one.